Hello, everyone. This is John Maddox with the 800-pound deadlift update. Yes, I just want to let you know that the hip, now that it's back in place, I think there's people that, lost interest. They're like, John, you're done. Your hip can't get any better. And well, I just want to let people know that it's been in now over a week. I went to do bent rows yesterday. And I mean, the last time it popped in, and just for people that might be coming to this video, I just want to remind people I'm laying out my story of all my training for when I hit this 800-pound deadlift. All right, I don't expect a lot of people to be watching my videos until I do it because no one's going to circulate it. It's not really going to grow, you know, and have a lot of demand until I do it, right? There's what's the old saying? Don't count your chickens before they're hatched. And someone else I knew had an old saying, shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? Don't be out there trying to say you're going to do something and then never do it. So what's nice with my hip being in place, because it really explained a lot. The last time I attempted to do a negative 800 pounds, my hip really hurt and it hurt very bad. And so when this hip did pop out, it was in between the previous time I attempted to try that 800-pound negative, because that 800-pound negative felt great. And then all of a sudden, the last time I tried it, it hurt like hell. So in between those two is when my hip did pop out. And I just know I just can't do a conventional power stiff-legged deadlift. They are the greatest exercise for building up a strong lower back and getting a great deadlift. So, like I said, I've been working around it the last 3 weeks. I do like to remind people I do have my own platform, which is called communityreviews.org. The world's getting really crazy right now. And if you want to understand what's really going on, just go over to communityreviews.org. Got the podcast over there. And I also do a citizen journalist update, which I've been doing for almost 2.5 years now. You can go in there and search by these community interests, find a lot of good information. And so I've been putting the information out. I've been awake now for I've been awake for 11 years, not awake, realizing that the mainstream media is fake. So I've built this entire website over the last 6 years. I've been able to see everything that's been coming out the last 6, technically it's 7 now, that the military has been releasing intel, working with different independent people. And so if you figure that out, that the military has been releasing information this entire time, if you go to my website, you can know exactly what's going on, because most of the stuff you're watching on TV right now, just a scripted movie. And I explain everything over there. All right, so what's great is, what happened to me with my hip popping out, now it's back in, really explains a lot in regards to what's happened to me over the last, couple months preparing for my meet. And so now I'm actually pretty happy because I didn't deadlift off the floor for over a year and a half. I've been just, doing some deadlift assistance stuff, kind of, mid to high shins, just to develop my lower back, so I could concentrate on my squat. Like I said, my whole thing is let's not overtrain. So this way I can do my legs once every 7 days. And then I have my upper body day where I do my upper body stuff once every 7 days. It allows me to get way more time in between to recuperate, especially when you train heavy like I'm doing. And like I said, I think a lot of people, the age thing, you're going to be surprised. It's not really what impacts you. It's not putting the effort in like you would at 20, right? I understand some people have injuries and you can't, maybe put some things forth because of an injury. But in today's world, you can go get surgery. Next year, we got med beds coming out. So next year, you're going to be able to walk in, get these things fixed, and walk right out. So there's going to be no excuse for anybody out there for not pushing yourselves. All right. So that's what I'm waiting for next year, this hip. But, like you said, my hips actually felt really good this week. I mean, after it popped in, I went to squat. Last time it popped in, my squat dropped like 30, 40 pounds. Actually, my squat felt better this week than it did the week before. And so the week before, it felt a little crappy, right? Not the best squat ever, but my hip just popped in, right? So it didn't go down. I still, put up, 590 pretty smooth. I went up to 680 for my negative. But obviously, I wasn't attempting to actually squat 680. With my hip being, I was mainly just being cautious, making sure I don't hurt myself. And then when I did my deadlift, because this is the 3rd week, so I do my deadlift training. And so what I did is I finalized what my deadlift is going to be now. So it's going to be first week back. I'm going to do the wide stance, standing good mornings, prior to doing a super wide sumo deadlift, right? That's after squatting. And then what I'm going to do in my 3rd week, when I deadlift again, is I'm going to start. So what happens is we have two sets of these metal platforms for doing partial movements with. So one of them is about 5 inches tall. The other one's about 9.5 inches tall. All right. And we also have these wood platforms for the lifters to adjust themselves based on those, metal platforms. So each one of those are about 2.5 inches. So if you stack two, so you obviously put one in there, you're cutting the distance that the weight is off the floor, right? If you put two in there, it's 5 inches you're cutting the distance on. So me, I like to use the higher platform because I get a lot of variety because I can, pull from that platform and do a really high end deadlift just below my knee, or I can put one platform in, which is pretty much what I've been working at, which is, probably in between mid shin and top of the knee. I mean, the bottom of the knee. And so if you put two in there, then you're pretty much, and this is where I noticed my weakness at the meet was that transition from getting off the floor, being able to drive through without my butt coming up, and then get to that position, just below the knee, mid shin, right? The position between mid shin and below your knee, right? So that's the one I was practicing. So that's what I did this week. I actually worked about 4 inches off the floor. I put the two wood platforms in there and I still went up to 675 pounds. I felt very smooth. I was very happy with that. And so, but what I'm going to do next time, this week, because my hip's in, I didn't want to go crazy. But what I can do is I can max out at 4 inches off the ground and then pull one of those platforms out, then max out at like 7 inches off the floor. And if I want, I can pull that platform out and then max out like 9.5 inches off the floor. So I can literally work partials every range all the way up by just pulling the platforms out as I go. So that's really the plan going forward. So like I said, I couldn't complain on my squat. It actually did pretty well for having my hip go in. It didn't go down. So I was happy about that. I'm going to make sure I keep doing, with the hips, bringing them in, where I was really concentrating like this before. So the last 2 weeks I've been bringing them in, and actually my hips been really good. And then when I did my bent row on Friday, I mean, my bench was a little tough because I really hit it hard the week before. So I only went up to like 345 on the board. After that, I said, screw it, did a couple inclines and I was done. And because I kind of hit the wall, I went to bent rows and really wasn't expecting much because I only did 2 reps with 405 last week. And I don't know where in the hell it came from. My hip felt like it felt like brand new when I was in there yesterday. And I mean, I couldn't even complain. I mean, I had no injuries. I literally felt like for the first time in a very long time, I had not a single injury in my body. And when I bent rowed, I went up to 405. Next thing you know, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I broke my previous record with 405 in the bent row by 2 reps. And I could have gone for another 1 or 2 if I wanted to. And I'm like, holy crap, this is awesome. When your hip doesn't hurt and it's not holding you back, look what you can do. So that was a good follow-up to this week. Like I said, being only 4 inches off the ground, pulled 675 pretty smooth. And then I a couple of days later, so what I did, because I knew I wasn't going to do any assistance, I'm like, well, shit, I can't leave, with this being as easy as it is. So I loaded up 515 pounds, which is the most I've ever bent rowed. And I actually bent rowed it. And I consider a bent row when I take the weight and I can touch my stomach with it. So, and I've been doing some extra biking and stuff. So my stomach's, it's getting a little tinier. So it's not like my gut's getting bigger. And that's how I touched it. So, but yeah, I'm very happy that, after noticing I had the injury, after it popping in and for it rebounding as fast as it is, I'm very happy. All right. I am going to pull this 800 pounds. And now I really see it coming. I see it coming soon. But with the elections and everything coming up here, I don't know if I want to do it before because a lot of crazy stuff's going to happen. Like I said, go to my website if you want to know the truth. I mean, the military controls all the mainstream media right now. So everything you're seeing is pretty much scripted by them, right? This movie. And I explain what the movie is, and why they're doing it so that they can do what they're doing behind the scenes. There's a lot of stuff going on right now that's going to really change the world going into next year. And if you go over to communityreviews.org, I can help you get up to speed. And it's just amazing. So once you learn the stuff that I've been learning, and like I said, it's been 11 years that I've actually now been awake. And the military stuff's been coming out for 7. They've teamed up with certain independent journalists. They've had these guys put out videos. They have them actually, bloggers getting that they send stuff to directly so that they can give you, like I said, there's not a lot of updates right now because they're really working their asses off, like 6 days a week is what I'm hearing. They get one day off. And, but it's what we're moving into. It's going to look crazier and shit, but what we're moving into is going to be beautiful, and people are going to love it. So, but anyways, like I said, John is not done. All right, you don't have to take me out to the pasture and shoot me. My hip felt awesome. My all-time biggest bent row. It was a big plus for me, based on how this hips felt for the last couple months. Um, so very happy. But anyways, I am not going to stop until I do this record. And then I will probably keep going because I just love to lift heavy weight. So anyways, everyone that comes and checks this out, I think I only had 3 views last week, but anyways, I do appreciate it. So, but like I said, when I do it, I expect to see a lot of people over here because they're going to want to know how I did it. Right. So that's why I'm laying out the story. So it's for when I do it. Anyways, everyone have yourself a great day.